Awareness is the greatest agent for change. How many of us are snack eaters? I'm guilty. I know that a lot of us grew up on some sort of snack, whether it be chips and dip or fruit snacks. I give my son some snacks like most parents, for bribes or whatever else it is that is needed. And what I noticed is that certain snacks caused certain reactions. So I used my son as my guinea pig. And what I would do is I would just give him, just different things from, your healthy snacks from apples to, a cookie here or there. What I noticed is that the snacks that had red dye 40 are the ones that caused him to have terrible night scares. So today I am going to talk to you about this dye and what to look for when going grocery shopping so that you can avoid having this into your diet. A lot of Americans, when they go grocery shopping, you have a high percentage that don't read labels. And then you have another that, will read the labels but don't necessarily know how to, properly go through or what it is that they're even looking for. There are a total of 93% of Americans who feel that after going grocery shopping and reading food labels, that companies choose to use tricky words or things that you don't understand in order to confuse you. So that means that 93% of Americans are subjecting themselves to this red dye amongst other dyes. The FDA approved and dumps about 15 million pounds of food coloring into our diet per year. That is a extremely large number. And on top of that, the dyes that are in our food are not regulated. What I mean by that is they, are required to list what is in it, but they're not required to tell you how much they're putting in. So there's no way to keep track of how much we're actually consuming. With that being said, it is in literally every food that you can find on the market, from your chips, from frosting for cakes, white frosting, which I never thought that it would be in there, pickle juice, cherries, you name it, it is in it. And it is up to us to try to find a way to not have that into our diets. Red dye 40 is one of the leading causes of a lot of things for our bodies, unhealthy wise. Some of them include being linked to, as far as children, you have, bedwetting, like how I said, night scares. It is also the cause of, headaches. ADHD has been linked to, as well as cancer. Some of the leading dyes that are in our diets would be red 40, yellow number 5, and yellow number 6. These all have cancer causing additives in them, which means that we are consuming cancer additives in our diets every day. Some things that we can do to, avoid these things in our diet are, just knowing the names that they use for red dye 40. A lot of times you're not going to see it listed as such. You're going to find many different ways that it is going to be named. Some of them include Allura Red and then Allura Red AC. You also have CI Food Red and CI 16035, which I'm sure, like most people, if you see that on a food label, I wouldn't know what that is, and I'm sure neither would you. So with that being said, there are websites that you can go to, and the websites will break down a lot of things that, tricky names or anything like that. It will break it down for you. So that way when you're going grocery shopping, You don't have to just opt out or say, I don't know, or, anything like that. You'll be aware so that when you're shopping, you know what you can get. On top of just avoiding it in your food choices, I don't want you to lose hope, because I know that it is in everything. It is in a lot of things that I didn't even know that it would be in. But there are some snack brands that are still out there, as well as just other foods that are out there that do not have it in there. There are, for example, as far as cereals go, if you're a cereal person in the morning, Cheerios, they don't have them in them. As well as, if you're a macaroni person, Kraft macaroni and cheese. Some of the brands, they're now working to pull out a lot of the unnatural additives. So they are one to look for, where they won't have this red dye 40, yellow numbers 5 and 6. They're going to be eliminating some of the brands that are eliminating. If you are a sweet tooth type of person and you love your fruit snacks, Moats Fruit Snacks are another brand that does not have this food coloring in them. So there are options out there for you. I don't want you to lose hope. It is definitely ways around this. So today I've hoped to convince you to take action in your life. Just know different websites. Google is your best friend when you're in the grocery store. I said sure. Grocery store. So that you can, pull this tool out and shop and make sure that you're making healthy choices. So what I'm going to do is just challenge you all to eliminate 5 things in your cabinet right now that have any type of food coloring in them. Red dye 40 in particular, it is the worst. I am begging you all, eliminate red dye 40. Life is too short to be unaware.